This is FinTech Futures at FinovateFall, and I'm joined by Anu Somani of US Bank. Anu, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us. How are you doing?
I am doing well. The conference has been wonderful. It's been so nice to see such a wonderful and diverse variety of fintechs talk about their products, give their demos. So it's been really nice.
Sounds great. So, just to get started, then, we'd like to quickly know a bit more about yourself and your role at US Bank.
Sure thing. So my name is Anu Somani, as Paul said. I head up global payables and embedded payment products at US Bank. We serve global treasury management. So what that means is our clients are institutional clients, and we look after all of their money movement needs.
Excellent. So, one of your key areas of focus, and as you mentioned there, embedded payments. To start, what's the current state of play around embedded payments then, and what trends are you seeing in terms of interest and adoption?
So we are perhaps living in an extremely interesting time from a payments perspective. The payments ecosystem is exploding in every manner that we can imagine. But a lot of companies are focused on simplifying payments for themselves, their customers, their employees. And oftentimes, a key pain point that comes up is how disruptive and how disjointed the payment process is. So embedded payments is all about creating an integrated experience that is simple, that's seamless, that allows our clients to truly benefit from all of the payment innovation that is happening. Let me just give you an example, right? And I will bring you home and talk about your breakfast buying experience. Right? So traditionally, what would you do? You would walk into your favorite bakery. You would stand in a line, and if you happen to be there at the prime morning business hours, this line is going to be extremely long. You finally make it to your cashier, you order your favorite coffee and bakery item, you pay for it, and then you move in and you wait for your name to be called, wonder when you're getting your coffee. Compare that to my breakfast buying experience this morning. I walked into the Amazon Go store, I tapped my phone, I went to an aisle, I picked up my favorite breakfast sandwich, and I walked out. No lines, no fishing in the wallet for a credit card, certainly no wondering on whether I'm going to make it for my 8:30 a.m. call. So that's really the power of embedded payments. It's simple, it's seamless, it is certainly superlative.
Sounds great. So, how have banks such as US Bank then been looking to tap into embedded payments then, and what kind of work have you been doing there?
Absolutely. So embedded payments, let me maybe start with, there is no dearth of demand for embedded payments. So we recently did a survey of about 2,000 financial leaders. All of them actually belong to organizations that make more than $100 million in revenue. 30% of them belong to companies that have revenues more than $2 billion. When we asked them about their interest and embedded payments, every one of them expressed interest and willingness to want to incorporate embedded payments in their flow. In fact, 80% of them said that we envision banking and originating payments and embedding payments through a fintech partner or a platform within the next 2 years. So that is a very, very telling and significant statistic for us. And what have we been doing to enable embedded payments? It's a three-pronged approach. Number one, we have been creating enabling technologies and infrastructure. What do I mean by that? So enabling technologies like APIs, SDKs, a holistic cloud-based strategy, thinking about our tech stack. So a lot of investment has gone in to ensure that we are capable of handling the seamless, smooth payments when it comes to it. Second, creating an entire suite of embedded payment products and solutions. One such example is our product called For Benefit Of, which is not just a new virtual account infrastructure, but it also includes things like automated KYC, automated onboarding, so that when clients do want to leverage For Benefit Of solution, they have the benefit of all the associated products as well. And third is really about forging meaningful partnerships. And we've gone out in the market and created partnerships with fintechs, with ERP providers. Essentially, we understand that our historical way in which our clients interacted with us, which was directly through us, may continue to exist for some, but a lot of them are considering also interacting with us through fintech. So we have launched what we call our Connected Partnership Network, which is all about integrating with a variety of fintechs through our APIs, through our files, and allowing our customers to choose the door that they walk through to us.
Excellent. Sounds great. And obviously, for companies looking to embed payments, scalability and security are two key factors towards that. Have you looked to kind of build that into your embedded payments products?
100%, right? So I started the whole discussion with seamless and smooth. A cornerstone for seamless and smooth is scalability, resilience. So for us, really the journey started out with investing in our infrastructure. So we are completely recognizing the need that in order to power our clients, we need to make sure that we have the associated infrastructure. So we've built an extremely scalable, extendable infrastructure. So think of it as Lego blocks, right? So as the market demand, as our client demand increases, we have invested a lot to create and ensure that extendability.
Excellent. And taking a couple of look at the specific use cases, then can you tell us more about how brokerages can embed money movement as well to improve account-to-account transactions?
So brokerage experience, I'll talk about two specific examples. So one is account opening. So today, whenever you open up a brokerage account, everything including your KYC, know your customer, the due diligence on you can happen online. You put in a few additional details. The brokerage firm is able to do the due diligence in the back end and is able to confirm your account opening. But when it comes to funding the account for perhaps doing a trade, that does not happen till you send in a check or till you authorize an ACH transaction, which takes up to 3 days. And it is, like I said, a very, very disjointed process. Embedded payments have the power of, while you are opening up the account, you have the ability to provide your funding bank account details and potentially even funding it in real time. And that is one example of how embedded payments can create a smooth, seamless experience. I'll give you one more example in this space. So a few years back, I actually wanted to invest in an IPO for a company that I truly believed in. And you wouldn't believe how complicated the IPO process was. I actually had to call up a financial advisor who asked me to then mail in a check. So I had to go fish for my checkbook, which I hadn't written in a very long time being in this space. I don't write paper checks anymore. Find a check, write it, mail it for the financial planner to receive it, encash it. And only then I would be able to buy the IPO stock. This entire process took so long that I actually missed my opportunity. So the IPO stock went out and the monies hadn't reached, so I could never buy the stock, right? So truly such a disjointed process and such a wasted effort during the whole process, right? So when you think of embedded payments, all of this can truly be streamlined and optimized in a way that I don't need to pause for anything. I can open up an account, I can fund it, I can trade it, all of it within a matter of minutes.
That sounds great. I mean, on the insurance side of things, how can embedded payments simplify payment and claims disbursements?
Sure. Same thing, right? So the insurance industry has gone through a rehaul of its own. They have invested heavily in the digital infrastructure where instead of calling in and notifying a claim agent that you have just been in an accident, you can just open up the app, take a photograph of the damage on your vehicle, and you can raise a claim digitally without having to speak to a single person. Historically, the claim would be adjudicated, you would get a call, you'd be told that, hey, the check is going to come in a couple of days, weeks, and you just sit there and wait. And if you happen to need your car for taking your children to school, or if you happen to be an Uber driver who needs their car for their, for meeting their family's needs, you would be out of luck. Fast forward a little bit, with the embedded process, as you're opening up a new policy, you have the ability to provide account details if there is a claim, or even when you are initiating that first notification of a loss, you have the ability to enter your bank account details, embedding your bank account details right there so that the payment can seamlessly and smoothly go through without you having to pause and think about the payment itself.
Sounds great. And I guess, how easy is it then for businesses to embed these kind of services into their own platforms, and how you go about assisting your clients with that?
It is not as difficult as some organizations will think about it, right? So an end-to-end embedded process, of course, is a little bit more comprehensive, a little bit more holistic. So for instance, the end-to-end taxi process that Uber reimagined, that is a lot. But in order for you to introduce a change of this order, you don't have to do it all at once. You can make incremental steps, and you can work with the right partners who will create these small wins for you so that you can justify the ROI to the business, and you can advocate for a larger change. So think about finding the right partner for you who has invested in the right technology, who has invested in the right products, the right people, and support for sort of any organization to make that change, to help them realize their process efficiencies, their need to create a differentiated experience in the market.
Sounds great. And just to finish things off, then, how do you see the embedded payments landscapes evolving in the next year or so?
Yeah, I think it is certainly, the value is proven. I think the demand for it is growing more and more. We see more and more use cases. So we talked about the brokerage industry, we talked about the insurance industry, car buying is certainly one of them. So you have a lot of companies reimagining their payments process. So just yesterday, I heard something that resonated really well with me. For those of us who are parents, we will recognize that we are only as happy as our least unhappy child. I want to be cheeky enough and provocative enough to say that a customer's brand perception is only as good or as bad as their last payment experience. What do I mean by this? Think about Netflix, right? I love Netflix. I love them for the variety of shows they offer. I love them for the quality of shows they offer. I love the fact that it's on my fingertips. I can watch it any single time. But imagine if every month for paying my Netflix subscription, I had to send in a check, or I had to call and be on the phone for 45 minutes to make a payment. Or every time they took a payment, they made a mistake, and then I had to call them up and say, hey, you were supposed to take $14, not $140, and they sent me a check back. I wouldn't be talking about all of their great shows. I would only be talking about how frustrating the payment experience is. So that is the power of payments, and that is the power of embedded payments. So over time, as we go into the next generation, I do see more and more businesses focused on creating their brand-centric experience, worrying less about how the payment interaction could be all that their customer is talking about. So I'm very excited about where embedded payments is heading. I'm very excited about sort of how many use cases this will truly revolutionize, and how easy and smooth your life and my life is going to be as these embedded payments example increase.
Sounds great. Yeah, well, exciting times ahead. And Anu, thank you so much for taking the time out again to speak with us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Same here, Paul. Really looking forward to what the next generation of embedded payments is going to bring for us all.